So it's June. No, it's not June yet. It's May 31st. Oh, I shouldn't do that. This leg's still giving me a lot of grief. Anyway. Ooh, boy. I'm done that. I guess maybe I should have made that. So I'm gonna make Cuban black bean soup today from this cookbook. I'll show you it in a minute. I've showed you this cookbook before. I'm actually quite happy with it. I won't be making it quite the same as she's making it, because why would I put prepared salsa in that? That doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna put the ingredients that'll be like from salsa in there. And anyway, it's gonna be awesome. From the Happy Herbivore Abroad travelogue of over 135 fat-free and low-fat vegan recipes from around the world. And so I sprouted black beans, and I'm going to seed a bunch of tomatoes, and I have a cardboard full of seeds. I don't know if you can see that here. So that one's red cherry tomatoes, which are the size of cherries. They're just plain old red cherry tomatoes, but they're good. And yeah, there will be onion, chili powder. I'm going to use ancho chili powder because I have been lately. I've been liking that. And ground cumin, black beans, vegetable broth. I'm just going to use some sea salt because I'm going to put a lot of veggies in it. Like I'll put the bell peppers, tomatoes, some garlic, cilantro. I'm going to juice the stems of 4 bunches of cilantro that we've eaten the leaves this week. And one thing that I used to do is I'd just lay the stems on top of the food in the slow cooker, and the juice would cook out. And then I'd just fish off the stems and chuck them. But I just had my gross juice, and the juicer's sitting on the counter, so I may as well juice some cilantro stems and just do that. And then there'll be, I'm gonna go buy another bunch of cilantro today, and a lime, and maybe a few limes. I don't know. I think I'm gonna put the zest in too. And that'll be that. It's gonna be good. When I was in high school, I had a boyfriend that was trying to fatten me up because I was thinner than this, and it wasn't muscle, so I was thin. And he made me feel really loved because he'd feed me. So he'd take me to restaurants. He was very generous. He was a very generous person, and he didn't seem to think about money at all. It just kind of flowed through him. But anyway, I hope he's well now. But he'd take me to restaurants, and like most of the time it was Wendy's, but sometimes it was Earl's, and we'd get the black bean soup. I loved it. It was very good. He learned how to be generous from his mother. She was generous too. She's actually a local cat rescuer in the city. She does a lot of that. I suspect she's rescued some of the cats in this neighborhood, but I don't know. There's always more. My legs are hurting pretty bad today, but my back is not too bad. It's just the referred pain. It's in both legs, but this one worse. But I figure it's just healing, you know? Take a few days. I'll just have to be careful for the next few days. I think maybe I walked a little bit too much yesterday. I shouldn't have walked quite as much as I did, but still, I need the exercise. I need to keep my muscles up. And I'm still drinking the coffee, but I'm not eating the cookies and I'm not taking the leave anymore. So it's good, because every time I eat a cookie, I know that it's not going to make me feel good. Every time I eat one, I feel like puking, because it's I can't have saturated fat. Every time I eat it, I feel really nauseated. So it really takes a lot of the pleasure of the cookie out of eating the cookie, honestly. Not all of it, surprisingly. If I'm really in rough shape and feeling really down, still that initial, like, cookie from the freezer. Nice while it's going down. But I should just chew it up and spit it into a bowl, because it's not going to make me feel good. And it's not like I'm wasting food, because it's not food. And I know it's not food. So really I should think about doing that instead. I wonder if I'd still absorb the fat and still feel sick, though. Maybe. And you're probably thinking now, wow, that sounds like some serious anorexia talk. No, that sounds like me not wanting to have a heart attack today talk. That's what that, sometimes you just have to acknowledge what you can't eat. It's not about, like, for me, I don't want to be thin like this. I looked a lot better when I was 15 pounds heavier, and I know that. And I think the best I looked in a bikini was when I was a size 10. So I was a lot heavier than 15 pounds more than what I am now. And but I still had the muscle to hold that fat up, and that's what really counts. If you have muscle packing fat around, wow, it looks good. So when I was 145 pounds, I was still muscular, and I think that's a pretty good weight for a woman, honestly. Looks good. But it's not one I can sustain. I don't think I'd last long at that weight. So, some people can handle different things. Like, for most people, I think it probably is healthy to eat coconut oil. I'm still feeding James coconut oil, and I don't feel badly about it. He seems to do well on it. But for me, I wasn't doing well on it, and I had to acknowledge that. I don't know I don't know how much fat my system can tolerate. Doesn't seem to be much. So anyway, I just have to work through it. Try to figure out what's right for my body. So anyway. One thing I am going to do, though, is I'm going to pump up the omega-3 fats, because my HDL can go a lot higher than it is as of December 23rd, when that cholesterol test was done. So I don't know how I'm going to fit it in. I think I'm just going to, it's smoothie season coming up. I think there's going to be a lot of omega-3 going into the smoothies, because I don't know where to put it. I don't like the taste of it. You know, how am I going to make chia pudding? Chia pudding was my favorite thing to eat, but how am I going to make that without the coconut now? This coconut's so good. So good. Anyway, you know, I am wondering about the coconut, like, if I eat it just as a whole food, I might be able to eat it, right? If it's a whole coconut, then there's no way that that fat has been processed in a way that any trans fats have been created or whatever. See, because I don't know enough about that sort of thing. I keep trying to learn, and I keep learning more, but there's so much to learn. Nutrition's so much fun. But first we'll get my cholesterol down to a non-medication level. A real one, not one that was diagnosed yesterday to me. It is not true. Anyway, I mean, there's some, I can understand maybe some doctors keeping their patients in ignorance of their conditions or the ramifications of whatever, for their own welfare, really. You know, honestly, there's no point in scaring a person when things are really quite dire. But, and a positive attitude will pull a person through a lot. But in cases like this, I mean, my cholesterol is more of a function of, well, I mean, it's hereditary, but me not being able to keep myself away from things like cookies is a function of pain from other things not being treated, you know. And as long as that continues to go on, I will continue having that problem, you know. And it could go out, I could step up from this chair and just twist a little funny and I'd be right back where I was, you know. And that's the thing, like, when your back is this bad, anything can set it off, and you know it, and you're careful, you watch every step you take, and it's frustrating. But if you try to look to the positive things, and it's hard sometimes when you're really feeling down, when you're in a lot of pain, it's hard to think about anything but the pain. I mean, it's just right there, you know, and you're pounding back painkillers and you're thinking, God, this is really not good for my liver, you know, taking this many painkillers, and I know what the bottle says, you know. But what do, right? Like, you get to a point when you're like, I can't function at all, you know, and I can't even recover. I can't rest and recover, you know, when you're at a point. I mean, you got to be able to feed yourself, and even if it just involves putting stuff in a bowl and microwaving it, you have to be able to do that. You know, you have to be able to keep, because who else is going to do it, right? Anyway, but yeah, I don't like taking painkillers. I have them around for times like this, you know, because in the past I've said, I'm not going to take any anymore, and then I have some old expired ones, and I'm like, okay. And, you know, when it's really bad, right? And that's maybe not the best thing to do, so I do keep them around. Because I know sometimes I'll take them. But I'm hoping this coffee thing ends soon. I'm still drinking coffee. and it's not good for me. And really, I mean, it's motivating me to get more work done when I shouldn't be doing work actually right now, but I will, you know, like I'm gonna make this soup. But I don't think that'll hurt me. We'll see. Yeah. 7. Ooh, I only slept 5 hours 20 minutes. It sucks. I wasn't sleeping because I was trying to sleep with the Chihuahuas, and because they really were missing me. But they're hard to, like, when my back is sore, it's just even turning over and you're trying to push with your legs or whatever to make a little more room for yourself when you're, because you need to. They really cram right in there against you, and so when you turn one way or another, you end up having to push them a little bit, and because they won't move, and it hurts, and then it puts the pain in your back again, and that's no fun. So So finally I just got up and I went to a different bed so I could sleep alone, because the one bed, they'll just keep coming in. I tried to barricade them out over there, but they don't. So yeah, but then they cry, you know, because they get lonesome. They don't like me shutting them out. Anyway, 5 hours 20 minutes. Great. But who knows, I might be able to get some more sleep. I still have that Journey to the Center of the Earth. I can put that on again. See if I click out. But I'm gonna, first I have some other things to do this morning. I'm gonna do the tomato seeding and get that slow cooker started, and then I'm gonna go for a walk, for a bread run, and then I'm gonna deliver whatever treat I get from the bread run to a friend in the neighborhood, and then I'm gonna get a few grocery items and come back. Oh, yeah, I was gonna do something else too, but you know, that's really quite a lot for me thinking of the next few hours. That's pretty busy. And I hurt. And I shouldn't pack groceries. Bread should be fine. It's not very heavy. I should probably get one of those carts that you see people pulling around, like little old women. I just don't want to feel like a little old woman. And I definitely don't like, you know, it's funny. It's funny how people are. If people see a young person or somebody who looks like really quite muscular, like me, they don't think that, it doesn't even occur to them that I could be injured. And it's like, even going to doctors, it's like, oh, you're perfectly healthy. And it's like, okay, have you looked at my file? Or how about we run this test? Because I know, I know some things that I haven't had them run yet, and I should just get them to run everything that I know is broken, and then, yeah, because it's, you know, one thing, it's like one thing's broken and then it makes you unable to compensate for another injury with that other broken part being broken. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, so people think, and then they think, well, what kind of game are you playing, you know? Like I had, my ex was in really rough shape, and he walked with a cane, and people would treat him like he was just faking it or something. It's like, why you think I look cool walking with a cane, you know, like why would, but people are funny, eh? It's like me, I'm not being compensated in any way, and I could be. I mean, I injured myself while working for the federal government, and I haven't pushed to get any kind of compensation, you know. I tried to work with like this actually, and that was really stupid, but and I keep trying, you know, like I don't want to well, I guess face the truth. Anyway, that's enough for breakfast. I better get some work done.